This is the Watchman giving a clarion call. Now I have a question for you. Do y'all remember that movie Groundhog Day? I love that film. When I saw it in theaters as a teenager, I knew it was something special. Now, one of my favorite scenes of that film is where Bill Murray's character and the kidnapped groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil, drive headlong over the cliff together into the empty quarry beneath. And I bring up that movie and that scene because yesterday, on Wednesday, November 4th, we got to see a repeat of that very scene with gold and silver prices. Once again, out of nowhere, the bullion and central banks climbed into the truck with the gold and silver prices that they held hostage and drove those prices over the cliff, and we got to witness it, topple end over end. We witness it day after day, week after week, month after month, just like the repetition of that movie. Now, several weeks ago, when the metals were flying, silver flew up a couple bucks from the bottom, gold, 50, 60, 70, $80, we started to see some of the regulars in the community come out and say that a breakout had occurred, that the coast was clear, and that the bull market in price was back. While as usual, my Shield brothers and myself, we all stayed frosty. Okay, we kept our heads down and didn't get our hopes up, and therefore we didn't get crushed along with the price when the bankers came calling. Now, folks, for the last 2 years, I've been convinced, and I'm more convinced than ever, that the banking cabal's strategy on price suppression in precious metals have changed. Okay, the moment in time that I believe that they changed their strategy was just after Egan Jones and Standard & Poor lowered the boom on Washington, D.C.'s credit rating. Go back and check it on the charts. This was when the long, punishing decline in gold prices especially began, after that price spike upward, following the loss of the U.S.'s AAA credit rating. Now, I still firmly believe that at that point, a new game was afoot, that anyone still trying to calculate or figure out when the next price breakout upward would occur would likely be all wet, because the game to me seems to be now that they will repress and suppress gold and silver until such time as this system is finished. That way, the maximum amount of investors and their capital is hopelessly trapped within their system when it goes down, giving no one time to get out to safer, clearer pastures when all is said and done, like in things like gold, silver, or any of the other alternative currencies, Bitcoin, land, cash, whatever you want it to escape to. They won't have time to do that. Now, I believe they'll hold these prices down to the bitter end. But the good news is that the lower and longer they do so, the closer the end comes. Okay, they speed it along. And another new sign that all isn't right in the wonderland of paper gold trading are the newest mind-numbing figures from the COMEX data. Okay, the COMEX, after several tons of gold have all bled out of their registered stockpiles in the last several days, have once again declined to less than 5 tons on hand. All the while, open interest against this pile of deliverables has never been higher. This is a historical imbalance. Okay, and it's left the warehousing system there with a truly staggering number of claims per ounce, reaching this week to 298. This means that there are 298 people trading against every ounce of gold. 300 claims to the ounce, you understand. People like to use they overuse words like the term unprecedented. But in this case, This actually is unprecedented. It has no parallel at any other time in COMEX history, to my knowledge. The collateral backing this wholesale charade, this accident waiting to happen, is a mere 1/3 of 1%. There is now so much leverage and so little gold that no party of any means or importance can any longer do what Kyle Bass did several years ago when he took delivery of decent tonnage. And if you own even, say, several $100 million in COMEX gold contracts and you want to take delivery, well, tough luck, my friend. You are out of luck, because at $1,110 per ounce, only 152,000 ounces of gold, there's only $162 million dollars in deliverable gold still available. And on Wall Street, friends, $162 million is couch cushion change. In the eyes of Wall Street, it's just coffee money. Okay? Why? Why is gold at an all-time low there, though? Well, that's not very hard to figure out. See, since 2013, the banks have pulled out all the stops to ensure that gold and silver would not be simply contained. Okay, price hasn't stagnated or gone sideways since 2013. It's gone base jumping. It has gone straight down. But the great thing is that since the spring of 2013, it's really triggered an enormous increase in Asia's gold buying spree, particularly what is deemed the, quote, Silk Road countries, end quote, of note, including China, India, Russia, and Turkey. Okay, that was the moment that the demand charts all hockey sticked for those countries, the moment that really crystallized the beginning of the end for the banking cabal's control of gold. And in 2015, I mean, biscuits and gravy, look at that chart. I mean, it is just absolutely gone astronomically higher. Now, please notice something here. At the beginning of 2013, those four countries have bought just under 10,000 tons of gold in 5 years. That's unreal. Yet, look at 2013 onward. Notice the even steeper upward slope, the ascent to the heavens. In the last 3 years, they bought another 10,000 tons of gold. From 2008 to 2013, it took half a decade to buy the first 10,000. But since then, it's only taken 3 years to eat through another 10,000. It's roughly 3,500 tons of gold per year for just those four countries combined. And that's just the tonnage that they're admitting. Now, of those countries, firstly, Turkey continues to experience strong gold demand from its populace, which has been very gold-centric for many decades. They've been opting to acquire hundreds of tons per year. Now, Russia is much in the same boat, except it's been less on the populace side there and more in the central bank. They've just announced that they intended, by the way, to double their gold reserves from the current Russian gold reserves, which are 1,350-ish tons or so that they admit. That would put them at roughly 2,700 tons of gold, or in the top 5 gold holders on Earth. And Russia is on a tear right now, a gold buying tear. In just the last 2 months, their central bank has sucked in about 65 tons. They're absolutely killing it right now. And you can understand why they've upped that gold buying spree, especially when you consider how the banksters absolutely launched a blitzkrieg assault on the Russian ruble on the earlier stages of 2015 and the latter part of 2014. But 2015 will probably be the single biggest gold buying year in Russia's history. Now, India is the same way. They're on pace to take on another 1,000 tons of gold this year as well, as strong early demand this year has set the stage nicely for a good, strong, four-digit gold finish. But China, in both their major bourses in Hong Kong as well as Shanghai, is just having a record year. It will be well over 3,000 tons of gold demand from China just through those exchanges alone. This doesn't even count the gold demand of the People's Bank of China, which is utterly monstrous. Okay, we don't know how large it is, of course, because they wisely hide most of the true demand. We get to see only the scraps, the leftovers each month, but that's okay. We know it is seismic. Okay, and this is the huge problem, the huge pickle for London and New York City, because it means for the last 8 years they've been running a golden deficit hundreds and even thousands of tons per year, and it's only grown worse with time, as fresh gold supplies have actually lessened. They've slowed year over year from this time last year. Yet demand is hundreds of tons higher. It's much higher than ever. And the interesting thing is that Eric Sprott, several years ago, I remember him stating that he believed by his calculations the gold market is roughly 3 to 4,000 tons per year if you count mining and recycling and all the other sources of gold supply. But in that 3 to 4,000 ton market, you have a gold deficit of perhaps 3 to 4,000 tons extra beyond what they produce. Okay, so in a market that's that small, running a several thousand ton gold deficit per year for the last 5 to 6 years has been just irreplaceably dangerous to this cabal. I cannot confirm these numbers, but if even a fraction of that golden deficit in fact is real, it means that Western central banks are making up the difference, and the exchanges like the COMEX are also helping to assuage the shortage. Okay, and that brings us back to square one. The COMEX, with gold's price at basically the lowest in 5 years because of this huge golden deficit, which has to be satisfied from somewhere, is giving up the ghost on deliverable gold. Okay, now they could entice some more people from their eligible golden stockpile. That's true. But I'm writing, this piece and speaking this piece not to talk about a plain vanilla default scenario, but to remind all of us of the most important thing. Gold is finite. Gold is scarce. And that also applies to silver in spades. These multi-year deficits in gold from the Silk Road demand has inflicted irreversible, serious hidden damage to the forces we're battling. And remember this, gold is also power. It's pure power. Okay, without gold, you have no money power. You have no sovereign wealth power. And it means that their power is also slipping away with every deficit, every year, every smackdown, every huge multi-hundred ton demand figure from Shanghai. Their power is slipping away with the gold. Never, ever forget that. It is crucial to understanding why you should take heart and not be beaten down with price. Okay, yes, folks, I get it. We've all felt like Phil the Weatherman in Groundhog Day, and these price dives are redundant and old by now. But remember, one day in that movie's story, in that tiny Pennsylvania town, Phil the Weatherman woke up and everything had changed. Nothing was as it had been the days before. And one of these days, I promise you, we're going to go to bed, and the next day will not be anything like the rest. Count on it. Till that time, keep your eyes on the prize. With courage, with strength, and with conviction, because you are right. This is the Watchman signing off. Stay vigilant and bring the fight to them.